how about you guys give me some ideas in the comments to do some type of a, I don't want to call it a prize, because I mean, playing golf with me ain't nothing real special, but I don't know. I mean, we'd have to call it a prize. We'll pick somewhere in North Carolina, possibly Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, and it will be an all-paid trip, meaning I'll cover the hotel room, I'll cover the golf, and 3 people can win, and we'll just go play like for a couple of days, like maybe play a Friday, Saturday, get down there Thursday night, wherever we decide to go. Be play. It has to be in North Carolina, South Carolina. So I'm not driving a long ways. I don't get on airplanes, so it'll be within driving distance for me. We'll do maybe play Friday, Saturday, and then you can go back home Saturday afternoon. But y'all let me know what would be a good contest. Kind of like the format of the contest would be for something like that. You know, do you comment a certain thing in a video or something like that, and then I go in and pick the 3 people. And of course, if you live in Kentucky or if you live in California, obviously you're going to be exempt, because you're probably not going to want to come all the way to North Carolina just to play a round of golf with me. That would be stupid. I just think it would be fun to play with, you know, three folks that follow me, but you got to put some kind of contest or something on it so that we know who the 3 would be. So you let me know in the comments below what you think I should do, and I'll read them and we'll make that happen. All right. Seen some comments about a update on my yard. You can see right there, that is as thick as the hair on a dog's back. I mean, just look at there, how much closer you want to get. Look at that. Thick as the hair on a dog's back. Let me give you another angle at it right here. Look at there. Boy, that looks some kind of good right there. So, take you back in time a little bit, and I did a full-blown overhaul, renovation, pretty much start from scratch, both here in my main yard, and the irrigation's running out there. Okay, that changes my plan. I forgot I had it set. Whoops. The backyard as well, the very back there. All of this is 100% GCI turf type tall fescue. You can see that's uncut right there, nice and thick. The overwhelming majority of the yard is like this, okay? I do have a few spots, I'll show you those in a minute. But you can kind of remember, we did, you know, what I call full-blown renovation, which is take it all back down to bare dirt. And that was removing the existing turf, the existing thatch, the existing root system, everything. You remember I had my tractor out here and was pushing them big piles up and loaded it up in my dump truck and hauled it all off. Nothing but bare dirt. So, and you know, like I said in those videos, the reasoning behind that is we have found land. Praise the Lord, hallelujah to the King. We got water in our well, so it's official. We're going to begin the building process before too much longer. I think about November 10th is when the grading guy is supposed to come out and start moving trees and clearing and that kind of thing. So we're about to make it happen. Hallelujah. We are stoked. And so as part of that move, I want the yard to be absolutely as close to pristine, perfect, mint, undeniably dominating, annihilating, humiliating anything and everything around it. So that, now let me back up just a second. That sounded a little bit arrogant right there. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm a love your neighbor kind of guy. But kind of in the back of my mind, I ain't gonna lie to you, I like having the best looking yard around. I can't hide that. It is what it is. But at the same time, I've helped this neighbor over here multiple times, and helped other neighbors in the neighborhood, because Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. So I'm going to live that out in my life, even though I do like having the greenest yard on the block. So when it comes time to sell this bad boy, I want the yard absolutely mint as I can get it. So you know, I had rye, had some bluegrass mixed in, and I just wanted a pure stand of fescue. So that's really the only reason I did it, is to help sell the house. Now let's look at a few spots right here. You can see majority of it's like that. I'd say 90% of it is like that. But look at this right here. I'm gonna tell you what, that one irrigation head right there has given me a fit this year. I don't know if it leaks or it sprays out too much around it or whatever, but you can see I've got these little patches right here, and that's from that pro plugger type thingamajiggy, whatever you call that thing. And so I'm putting a few little patches here, and I've got seed and stuff kind of mixed in there too, so that'll fill in eventually. You come over here and a little bit thin in these areas right here, right on the edge. Now you got to remember, my grass line, I moved it in a foot. So you can see there's the old grass line here. This is going to be the new grass line. So it's going to kind of go down right through there like that. So a little bit thin over here where it's a little bit shady, and honestly, this stays drier too. These freaking trees suck everything up over here. Look, it's magic. See, it's a little bit thin. The further you get away from the tree and the more sunlight, look at how it changes. Let's look at that again. Shady, a little bit dry from the maple and the cryptomeria, kind of sucking everything out right there. And you get out here, it starts to get moist when you get further and further away from the roots. And look at the difference. Major, drastic difference. But there is seed there, so that will come up here in the next little bit. You can't see this on camera, but about 6 foot out, all the way down this stretch right here, is kind of where it stays dry, right along this band that kind of goes all the way around. What I did was took that little push mower and, well, let's back up to the renovation. So go back in time, we had the seed on the ground, things were starting to come in nice, and we got a crazy storm, downpour, and look at all this grass all the way down this edge. My yard slopes from up there down to here gradually. It's not a big slope, just gradual. But look, it all feeds to right there. Look right there, you can see where it washed. There's still grass seed laying everywhere right there. And all of this is not even in the yard. I never put seed down right there, it's just where it washed. So, I'm not killing this off yet. I'm probably gonna leave it. That's some fantastic turf in there that I can use that pro plugger and fill in a few little spots like that one over there next to that irrigation head and be good to go. But after that happened, I basically took my right walk behind, this was after the thunderstorm, and skin it to the ground. You know, baby, young, tender grass. Oh, so brand new, but it was kind of spotty because of the thunderstorm. I just took a mower and took it all the way to the dirt. Well, not quite to the dirt, like at an inch. You know, most people would freak out when you do that, but I don't care. I just skin it down. It did not hurt that grass one bit because that grass just kind of popped back to life. But right after I took it down to an inch, I put another light dusting of seed over the yard, a little bit heavier in the bare spots, that kind of thing, and run my Stinger slice seeder over the whole thing, and kind of grooved all that seed in, started pushing water again real hard. And you know, about 10 days after that, I think we got a a couple of good showery type rains, like ideal showers, and boom, this is what you see. This is how it turned out right here. Now recently, this area right here where it was dry, it was a little bit thin. So if you come out about 6 foot all the way down the edge here, I took the mower and took it back down to like 1.5 inches and put just a light butter dusting of seed. Not much, just a light dusting. Took the slit seeder and grooved all that in all the way around this edge. I don't know, you might better tell this grass is a little bit shorter than that grass, but I don't know, you might see it on the camera, might not. And it kind of followed around all the way up through here. So there's seed on the ground, grooved in the dirt. I done that like a week ago, 1.5 weeks ago-ish. It's had one rain on it, and you can see these little thin spots right here. Right along in there, a little thin spot like that. But I have no doubt, North Carolina weather, we stay warm enough up until first of the year. That seed along that edge right there should come on in just fine. Not worried about it. And it'll look just like that right there. So that's kind of area of concern. And what I mean by concern is it justified me putting down more seed and actually putting in the work to get it to fill back in. Let me go find a spot in the yard that is not a concern of mine. We'll have yeah, right here. Okay, see this little spot right in here? No concern to me. I've got baby grass plants coming up inside there. It just hadn't matured and filled out and thickened like that area right there. So I might even gonna think about putting grass seed right there. That will thicken up on its own. As far as watering goes, I am watering twice a week right now, about 15 minutes a zone, and I'm doing a little bit of hand watering right along that edge right there to kind of keep that moister than the rest of the yard. As far as fertilizer goes, this has had one application of course, the fertilizer I put down when I planted the seed. What did I put down? The GCI 2808 or the 3000? It was one of the two, I can't remember. But it's had one more application of the GCI Turf 2555, which is a fantastic fertilizer, by the way. And boom, it exploded with this just crazy color. Man, this joker looks some kind of good right now. I think I put that fertilizer down maybe 3 weeks ago-ish, something like that. So probably in about 2 more weeks, which will put me a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, I'll hit this one more time with the 2555, and probably go down about 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000, and that will probably do me for this year. I'll kind of call that my winterizer, or whatever those terms that are used for that. I'll do that a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and it'll be done. Back there, that is just a pinch thinner than the turf up here. It's lagging behind just a touch, and I'm unsure why. I pretty much did the exact same thing back there as I did up here, except that's a fertilizer application behind. Why? I honestly don't know, can't remember. I was probably playing golf, just to be honest with you, and I just didn't do it. So tomorrow when I get home from church, I'm going to throw down a full pound of N on that using the GCI 3000 to really get something quick in the ground and really get it pumping hard. And probably around the week of Thanksgiving-ish, I'll go back and hit that with the 2555, and that'll kind of get the 2 yards kind of back on track together. As far as weeds go, I've got a handful of this little broadleaf weed, this little guy right here who come up. I have absolutely no concerns about that whatsoever. Probably around the Thanksgiving-ish weekend or so, I'll probably come out here and hit this with a blanket spray of Speed Zone, may go 3-way and triclopyr combo, one of the two. I don't know which one, but I'll do one of the two, and probably go with some GCI 000, the iron, and may even tickle it a little bit with a 2000, just a touch. And then what that'll do is that's going to clean up all the broadleafs and have me a nice clean yard. And then I've also got, where's a good one at? Right here. This is more of like some kind of a annual rye type stuff. I don't really know what you call it, to be completely honest with you. It kind of looks like an annual rye. So I know for a fact the broadleaf I see and the this little rye looking stuff, it didn't come from seed. It was more than likely in that dirt that I brought in, or could have already been in the dirt when I was here. And then the weeds just had a prime time to germinate when, you know, the ground was opened up. So either way, I'm not real concerned about that rye, because that will go away on its own. But that little bad boy right there, when I spray it, all that'll just kind of wilt and go away, and then the fescue will kind of just close up the gap. Because, you know, look, here's a real good example. Here's one right here, but you can see it's a tremendous amount of fescue around that. So I'm not even remotely concerned about that choking out my fescue. People get wigged out on that and say, "Oh, I got 3 weeds in the yard, it's going to choke out my grass." No, it's not. Don't believe the hype. Don't listen to the lies. That one little weed is not going to choke out your grass. Now, if I had a thick condensed area of that broadleaf or a broadleaf, then obviously that was going to be an issue, right? You want to smoke that off and then reseed that as quick as you can this time of the year. But, you know, a little weed mixed in here and there, I have absolutely no concern about them whatsoever right now. Had some folks ask about a review on my crown jewel right here. This is a Craftsman M90 125cc, and it has a combined total of 4.50 foot-pounds of torque. Compared to my F450 Platinum, which has 1,200 foot-pounds of torque, I'd say that's a pretty big difference. But this little mower, it's not self-propelled. You have to manually push it. It does have a little flap that goes over here that I took off. I just like for the grass to fly out. Manual height adjustment as far as the height of cut goes. I've been mowing this on the middle notch, which I think is around 2.5 inches. Today I've got it all the way up, which I think is around 3 inches. If I had to look at this mowed area, I would guess that's right at the 3-inch mark. Maybe 3.25. I think it's more like 3 inches. But, yeah, I paid $249 for it at Lowe's. Pete, you got Ventrax, you got Wrights, you got, what else I got? Ferris, you got stand-ons, walk-behinds, commercial push mowers. Why in the world did you go buy a $250 bottom feeder? I'm not making fun of the mower. I'm just saying, and compared to the other mowers I've got, this would be considered a bottom feeder. Why would I go spend the money on that? Well, it's because I wanted to walk and exercise and actually physically push the mower, because I get enjoyment out of actually working sometimes. And number two, all this, it's matured off now, but a month ago, 6 weeks ago, when I started mowing this, it was brand new baby young tender grass, and I wanted to put the lightest, most compact mower that I could possibly put on it to keep from tearing anything up. So that's why I bought it. All you do is you pull that handle and you pull the string and it fires up and starts mowing. Cuts fantastic. I mean, for my review on this mower, it's for $250. That's a fantastic lawnmower. So, how do you mow straight lines? I saw that comment. Well, that's super duper easy. You come over here in the smallest part of the yard and you start making your straight line passes on the smallest area of the yard. Or you can start in the corner of the yard. Like if I went way back in that corner and was mowing, diagonal, I could start back there. And you get your lines nice and perfectly minty straight in the short part of the grass. Then you just kind of follow that on out as you get in the wider areas. And then you end up with some laser tight, laser straight lines. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see it on the camera right here. But they are absolutely laser straight right there. So mowing frequency, how often am I mowing? I'm mowing as often as the grass needs it. We've had one little teeny tiny light frost. Didn't even check the grass up. It just kept on getting it. So I'm mowing like once every 7-ish days, trying to push it to 10. This past month, I think I've mowed once a week, like mowing a Saturday after my morning. We do a Saturday morning skins game out at my club I play at, and I just come out here and spend the rest of the afternoon out here cutting grass. That back there, I've kind of mowed it a few times less than I have mowed this. Like I said, that's kind of lagging behind a little bit. I really think it's the lack of nitrogen, but that's going to change tomorrow after church. But I try not to let that grass get out of hand. I mean, I don't want to let it get so tall and bushy so when I mow it, it makes a mess because I am side discharging. So, every 7 to 10 days, and that's doing it for me on my yard. And I'll just continue that until, the frost start getting heavy enough and the temperatures start dropping low enough to where the grass, naturally slows down. Let's see, we've went over fertilizer, water. Oh, don't cut your irrigation off too soon. I cannot tell you how many clients I have that they just cut their irrigation off way too early in the fall. They feel these nice brisk days. It gets up to 60, 70 in the middle of the day, and they're like, ooh, everything's hunky-dory. It's perfect weather right now for fescue. But yeah, that is all true. But we experience wind, and we experience sunlight, and we experience no rain. So your yard may still need some water. So my philosophy on winterizing the irrigation is I'm going to push it to the absolute last minute. Meaning it's going to have to get down to 32 and be cold, where the chance of my water would actually freeze in the head or something like that before I'm going to turn mine off. And I'm just going to keep on watering up until that point in time. So went over watering, went over fertilizing, mowing. I think that's about it. Seeding, little spot seeding here and there. What else we got? I think that's about all, I believe. It just, man, it looks so freaking good right now. My gosh. And I'm completely happy to have my 100% turf type tall fescue back, because it is just absolutely jamming right now. This could possibly be the best spring I've ever had at this house. This spring coming up. Once that springtime heat hits all this and it flushes out, then it should look extremely, extremely good. And I cannot wait to see it. When am I going to stripe this bad boy? Oh, I like the stripes. Love them. Well, I'm going to use this old crown jewel right here. Probably the next couple of mowings. I'm trying to wait until that little bit of seed comes up around those edges, just to be completely honest with you. But we'll get at least one mowing, one striping video in before first of the year. I'll give you my word, I'll make that happen. I'm extremely busy at work, and I'm also pretty busy with golf. I'm really trying to cram in a lot of rounds before the end of the year. Matter of fact, the day you're watching this on a Saturday morning. My A player, I call Dallas my A man, Drip Daddy. He and I are in Myrtle Beach playing in the Brian Bros tournament, trying to bring home the gold and win that thing. Week after, I go play in a big, I call it a big money game, a big money match, 3 days down at Myrtle Beach. Come back for another week, and then a couple of weeks after that, I go back on another beach trip, play golf. So I am really trying to cram in a lot of golf between now and first of the year when it gets real cold. So, but even with all that going on, I'll give you my word, we'll do a nice striping video with the funky music and all that kind of thing, and we'll use my right walk behind, and I'll go and put the big league striping roller on it. And I'm gonna tell you what, when I hit that joker with this right, your eyes are gonna pop out of your head, because I can look at grass and tell if it stripes good, and this right here is going to stripe like an absolute champion. And I forgot to say this, fungicides. We're kind of sort of out of the out of the window of opportunity for disease to show up, but for the past month I've been hammering down like every other week with Clearese and Azoxy, Mefenoxam, just because I've been pumping water to it. I did have a little bit of gray leaf spot pop up kind of right in that area right there, and just stayed on top of the fungicides hardcore, and I got that cleared up and looking really, really snazzy right now. No sign of disease. Before I go to the Brian Bros tournament, I'm probably going to hit it one more time just to be safe. We're supposed to feel a little bit warmer this week than normal, even touching 70s, and a normal year I wouldn't even sweat the fungicides, but I've spent so much time and so much money out here to get the yard to where it's at right now. Ooh, good gracious. I'm just not going to take any chances. I'm not going to risk a little bit of gray leaf spot or something like that melting out or whatever it might be. I'm just not going to take any risk on that. So I probably will spray this one more time with fungicide before we go to that tournament at the beach. That way I'm just covered while I'm gone. So overkill, probably so this time of the year, but I'm a very proactive guy when it comes to my yard, preventative type guy. There's the update on the yard. We'll get out here and do a little bit of mowing to close it out. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I will check you later.